The Manuscript of Survival, Part 298. April 10, 2013. As the tides turn, so too does your sense of the world around you. For it is indeed changing, little by little, day by day, and as such, you are growing and evolving. For it is indeed you who are changing, for the world as you know it is no longer the same. But that is because you are no longer the same. For every day, you step closer into who you truly are, and as such, every day, a piece of the old you fall away, for never to be needed or retrieved ever again. For you are not here to gather the pieces that seem to be slipping through your fingers, whether they be pieces of your family, your relationships, your ideas or your worldly goods. For remember, anything not a part of the true you will no longer be a part of your life, and as such, there are many partings going on now. Fear not, this does not entail that you will be left bereft of anything that is at all familiar to you, it only means that you will be left with the true parts of everything. So your family or friends will not simply walk away from you, but your relationship to them will turn from the old version and into the new and true version. If that entails growing closer or growing even further apart, only you will know. For remember, they too have to decide their path in all of this, and even if you can face the truth to this, many of them cannot. So again we say know that this is not always an easy journey, for what the light shines upon, will always have to revert to the truth. And as such, painful connections will be revealed and must be torn asunder, for sometimes to be healed and reconnected again, but for other times, to be bid a final farewell. We know this will sound overly dramatic to some, but what we are trying to say is that in this, nothing will be left to fester and corrupt, because you have to walk your truth, no matter how painful it is. But again, this is not about stripping you of everything you love, this is about stripping you of everything that is harmful to you, and sometimes the painful truth is that the strongest of pains is the one we are most apt to hide away, even from ourselves. But now, if there is anything left in your life that you need to reassess, it will be shown to you, and only when you accept this, will you be able to deal with it in a loving way. For this is all about love, not about anger, fear or hate, and as such, know that anything that comes up for evaluation, does so at the behest of the light. The light wants only what is good for you, but sometimes, that means that you need to do something that will pain you. At least initially, but trust us when we say that you will soon see the wisdom in this, and you will also feel the deep love that lies behind each and every painful encounter with yourself you may have in the times ahead. For what you are doing, is severing each and every bond that are holding you back, and these bonds are bound to run deep, not only in your life, but in others as well, and as such, it takes more than courage at times to stay the course in this. But again we say, if you need any help, please ask for it, and know that it comes in all shapes and forms. For you might be surprised by the resonance your acts will have in those around you, even in those you would deem as the least responsive to anything that the light might bring. For remember this, what the light exposes is not only negative for you, it is also negative for those to which you are connected by these old bonds, and when you start to sever them, you will also set free those that have been tied down with these same chains. For that is what this truly is, chains to bind you all down, and as soon as one of the prisoners starts to loosen his or her chains, the effect will be felt by everyone tied onto that same chain. For some, this sudden sense of freedom will be daunting, to say the least, but for others, it will be like a breath of fresh air that helps them to see things more clearly too. So again we say, this is not a harsh and cruel cutting off of ties, this is a willful and deliberate freeing of you all, or rather, it is the offering of freedom, and then, it is indeed up to each and every one if they want to continue to loosen those chains completely, or if they want to wrap them even tighter around themselves. For this is the fast track to freedom, and for many, nothing could be more fearful to contemplate. For just as for a prisoner standing at the gates of his prison after being incarcerated for years and years, the prospect of walking out into the world as a free man can be too much, and he will be tempted to turn around and go back to his old cell. For the familiar confines can be more gratifying to him than the prospect of having to step out into a world where there are no familiar boundaries. And so too it is with this process. For you all have some old limitations in your life, whether they be internal or external, and when these limitations are given an option to cease to exist, it can sometimes be hard to embrace that option fully. So make sure that you do not shy away from that choice, for it is indeed one you have to make. For this journey cannot be undertaken half-heartedly, it must be taken as a whole, not by picking out the parts that seem to be the least challenging. And remember, the choice was made by you even before you came, for if not, you would not even be here now, contemplating the results from that choice. For you chose to become free in this lifetime, and that is why you are being given the opportunity to be just that now. As for the others around you, they have also been given the same choice, but remember they might have chosen a slightly more meandering path than the direct path you took. So to them, the options can be a bit wider. For they can have given themselves the opportunity to choose the freedom this time around, or to continue in the old school for a lifetime or more. Again we say, you have chosen your option, just as they have chosen theirs, so in this, you have given yourself less leeway than some of the others have. For you have deemed that your time is now, while they have chosen to say my time might be now, but on the other hand, it might not. Therefore we say, prepare to be surprised as you yourself continue to cut asunder those old ties that are binding you to your old way of life. For as you do just that, the freedom to move will make many around you blink their eyes to the light and say, I think I will follow your example, beloved one, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to do so. For this is not an invitation to cast anyone or anything away from your life. This is an invitation to tear asunder any old and negative limitations that are keeping you all cemented to the old ground level, so to speak. And no one of you will be able to climb those stairways to heaven if you do not remove the old chains keeping you there. Let us leave it at that for today, and wish you all Godspeed on your continued journey. For many, the weights of the chains have started to lift off of you already, and you will already see some of the outcome of this, both in your life, but also in those around you. For others, these weights seem to be weighing heavily upon you, but please know that it takes much less of an effort than you mayhaps think to make them fall away from you completely. The Constant Companions. Channeled by Asia North. asianorth.wordpress.com